Fellow Kenyans, today allow me to talk to MPESA Ida Odinga. I don't think that this appointment, she should see it as special, this appointment by William Ruto. I want to tell her this was planned. It's been a script mastered by the state. It's called statecraft. And I want to give her all the evidence. I want to tell her that Raila.Ida knew this very well. That's why even after handshaking Uhuru Kenyatta, he didn't join the government. Even Sheikh Ruto, he didn't join the government. He only sought for a position in AU, which he didn't get because Ruto actually cheated him. And I can tell you very well that Ruto wanted Raila out. He tried to take Raila to AU, it failed. And now he took him out. And I told you when I landed from Juba that Raila was assassinated. Raila did not die. Raila's time had not come. So when you're accepting this position, let me tell you that your fellow widows have gone through this. Let me start with Tom Mboya. In 1996, after Tom Mboya was assassinated, Pamela was appointed by the government, was given an appointment. And that actually made that difficult to do all the investigation that was supposed to be done to get the bottom of what killed Tom Mboya. I want to tell you a parallel one now to you, and that is Ouko's case. After Dr. Robert Ouko was assassinated, Christabel was offered a job by the government, but she said no. She wanted to preserve the husband's legacy, so she became like a social activist for human rights. And I can tell you what, she died of a road accident. So I am not telling you that you should accept death for road accident. There's another scenario I'll give you of another lady. So that's what she did. She preserved her husband's legacy. Are you willing to preserve Raila's legacy by not accepting that job? That's up to you. I mean, everybody makes to make a decision. I also want to tell you that some of us were being asked to take jobs in government to keep us silent, but we fought for it to keep Raila's, let's say, prominent name. Because if we took those jobs, we could have actually diminished Raila. Remember, Orwa Jode declined the job from Kibaki after being appointed just to keep Raila's legacy. You know, the fate that happened to Orwa Jode. So I'm just simply trying to say it is what it is. Let's come now to J.J. Kariuki. J.J. Kariuki's wife was called Terry Wanjiku Kariuki. For her, when she received the government appointment after the husband was assassinated, she turned down the job for the sake of preserving her husband's legacy. She kept her title as widow of J.J. Kariuki. She did not involve herself in any sort of activism or social justice. She died happily at 80, just the way Raila died at 80. Either you have the chance either to follow the route that was taken by Christabel by advocating for justice for people, and you know government will always track you because they know the powers you have, or you can take the route of Christabel, Terry Wanjiku, who decided not to take the jobs but also neither to involve herself, just focusing on the widow of J.J. Kariuki. I take you to another one, another lady, powerful lady. That is the wife to the first MP to be assassinated, and that is Emma Gama Pinto. Remember why I know about Pio Gama Pinto is that Pio Gama Pinto was assassinated on my birthday. That is on 24th February. So that's why we relate very well. So Emma Gama Pinto rejected government appointment and she received a foreign support instead, which helped us to keep her bills because her husband was a journalist and MP. She decided not to take that, and actually because of that, she got what is called a foreign support and eventually a foreign international recognition and award called posthumous. Posthumous is how to deal with the people who have gone through what she went through. This happened in Chile in 1965. So that's how she kept the legacy of the husband, Pio Gama Pinto. Now let's come again down the memory lane. General Ogola. Ogola died and the family received some government support. I can even tell you that she was given a KDF holiday through the KDF, and she attended that holiday to enjoy herself. It was promised by William Ruto, it was given by the KDF. You know, the son was promised a job. That's why they were very happy during the burial of John Ogola. Albert Ojwang's widow. After Albert Ojwang was assassinated by the state, Albert Ojwang's wife was promised a job, was given money by William Ruto, was given some money with Sakaja and other politicians. That means that you cannot get to the justice for Albert Ojwang because those has been given. Raila.Ida was assassinated. Now you have been offered this job, Mama Ida. Are you accepting it? And once you accept that job at the state, do you think that we can investigate the state to know the truth of what killed Raila.Ida? No. Let's come to Jirongo. Jirongo's wife was also offered plus their children to be taken to State House. It is Moses Wanigola who spoke in that funeral and asked them to go to State House for this. So I'm telling Mama Ida, with all due respect, my dear, please reject this thing and maybe either decide to preserve your husband's legacy and make ODM stronger, or weaken it by accepting this job, because William Ruto knows that a stronger ODM is not good for him in the election. With all those few remarks, Mama Ida, the decision is yours. We'll respect any decision you take, but at least with this information from Mwalimu wa Taifa, Fred Ogola. The Luo community have high symbolic dependence risk because the anchor figure has been Raila Odinga. The core risk has been vacuum after a dominant moral political symbol has gone, which is Raila Odinga. So what are the key risks? Over personalization of politics. Raila is not just a leader. He is a movement. He's a grievance. He's a conscience. Replacing that is structurally difficult. Fragmentation after unity. Once the unifying figure steps back, suppressed rivalries can surface abruptly. The other risk is inheritance of protest politics. New leaders may copy resistance politics without Raila's legitimacy or resistance. The other risk is expectation mismatch. Younger voters want delivery, economic liberation. They want jobs, they want opportunities. Older voters just want symbolism, leadership for its own sake. What's the bottom line? The Luo risk not lack of leaders, but lack of a system to hold many leaders together. Let's now go and look at the Kikuyu community. Kikuyu community have had institutional succession elite fragmentation. The anchor figures in Kikuyu community has been Jomo Kenyatta, Mwai Kibaki, then Uhuru Kenyatta. The core risk is elite-driven politics detached from grassroots legitimacy. So what worked with that? Leadership transitioned through institutions and state power, not symbolism. Also, economic networks that the Kikuyus built cushioned political transitions. And lastly, multiple leaders coexisted nationally. What failed? One, elite capture during the succession decisions. Post-Uhuru fragmentation due to lack of a moral unifier. And lastly, grassroots felt excluded from elite bargains. And that's where Ruto gave birth to the Hustler Nation. What lesson do the Luos learn from the Kikuyu? Institutions matter, but without moral legitimacy, institutions alone can fracture. Luo must avoid elite-only succession conversations. Let's go to the third community, which is the Kikuyu, the Kalenjin community. The Kalenjin community has been centralized around kingmaker risk. The anchor figure has been Daniel Arap Moi and William Ruto. The core risk is over-centralization around a single successor. What worked? There was a clear succession path which avoided confusion. You have now seen Kalenjins confused. Strong internal discipline, then tactical alliances nationally. What is risky? Community fate tied to one leader's national fortune. For example, had Moi failed, Kalenjins could have failed. If Ruto fails, the Kalenjin people will fail. There also been limited internal pluralism. As you can see now, there is only one dominant Kalenjin leader, William Ruto. The other thing is weak ideological depth beyond power retention, because ideologically, who is William Ruto? But he only has power. What can lessons learn from the Kalenjin community? Avoid betting everything on one anointed successor. Power without ideology is fragile once circumstances change. Let's go to the Luhya community before we go to the Kamba community. Among the Kamba community, we've seen what's called chronic fragmentation risk. The core risk has been many leaders and no unifying framework, and that's what the Luhya communities are still suffering from. What failed? Luhya have so many sub-ethnic competition among themselves persistently. They have very weak collective bargaining power. What lesson can the Luos learn from the Luhya? Luo must not confuse pluralism with disunity. Multiple leaders need coordination, not competition without rules. Lastly, let's touch on the Kamba community. The Kamba community has been seen transitional stability, but they have not had a lot of outreach in other communities because there is no community outside Kamba who have voted for them. They're the ones who have been voting. The core is they have seen is over-reliance on political negotiations. So they have played very good part on politics of negotiation. You go to Mulo Mutisia, you go to Paul Ngei, you go to Kalonzo Musyoka. That's what they have done. What has worked? They have done their work with calmness and managing their transitions very stably. Leaders skilled, they have produced leaders very skilled in coalition politics. But this has led to limited growth, no ideological depth or mass mobilization, and then leaders of the Kamba community has been perceived as perpetual deputies. What lesson do Luos need to learn from? Negotiation must be backed by mass legitimacy and ideas, not just positioning. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Luo community, these are just words of wisdom that can help even other communities grow and unite together.